Well, good evening, one and all. Thanks for joining us again here on Doubles and Trebles. It's our second of our back-to-back Epsom previews. Yesterday we had a good look through the Oaks card ahead of today's action. Hit the bar on a couple, I would say, Smido. I mean, you put up, you said that only two horses could win the Oaks. You confidently land on one, and obviously the other one scoots in by 16 lengths. I mean, we should have seen that coming, really. You've been on course at Epsom. How's your day been?
It took 4.5 hours to get there. Traffic near Heathrow, terrible as always. It's just pissed it down all day, Pieman, to be honest. From south, up north it's been lovely apparently, but yeah, it's in and around Epsom and London. It's just been terrible all day. The going was good to firm this time yesterday, and then after the first race they changed it straight into good to soft. I'm not 100% sure if it changed again. It might even be officially soft now. But let's just assume it's good stuff at the moment. The weather's okay for tomorrow, and it can and does dry out very quickly at Epsom. But even if we have a clear run of nice weather between now and 2 o'clock tomorrow and beyond 4:30 when the Derby is, the ground could become what they call tacky as well. I mean, I'm no expert on weather and ground, but yeah, it certainly did not help the day for my selections, which was basically a disaster. On the selections, although you alluded to, yeah, I said on the big Oaks preview that it'll be between three horses, and then yesterday I said it'll be between two. Obviously, I backed Tiona, that basically blew a chance on the way to the stalls. She was on her toes around the parade ring, didn't look happy, continued that all the way to the stalls, and just didn't go a yard in the race, didn't go a single yard. Very, very disappointing Tiona was. And the other horse of the two that I said could potentially win was Snowfall, and Snowfall went and won by 16 lengths. An amazing result on the face of it, 6-1. Aidan O'Brien had 5 runners in the field. She was second choice, ridden by Frankie Dettori. We knew that was going to be the case, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. We knew that Snowfall was probably going to be second choice, probably second favourite, but she didn't go off second favourite because there was a big, serious move on Dubai Fountain that won the race at Chester for Mark Johnston. Actually went off second favourite for the Oaks itself and was terrible, absolutely terrible. The trainer got called into the steward's room after. I don't know what any reason given was, but as far as I could see, Dubai Fountain did not settle at all. I watched the race live actually at Epsom with my gaffer just in the stand as a normal punter, if you like, and the racecourse commentator to me missed the boat a little bit because as far as I could see, 5 furlongs out, coming round the bend, coming into the bend, Frankie was absolutely tanking on Snowfall. It looked the win. You know when people all say in the betting shop, "Oh, it looked the winner a mile out." Well, this literally did look the winner half a mile out, if not more. Tanking, travelled beautifully, and a show really, or a big alert, if you like, or a red flag of when it is bad ground at Epsom, and it was getting bad. Given it had rained all day, they come stand side, and that does not happen often. If you go back and watch Derby and Oaks replays from yesteryear, there's hardly any times will they come over to the stand side. I think the last time it happened was in 2018 with another O'Brien horse called Together Forever. But yeah, they came stand side, and I'm telling you now, Frankie Dettori at the 3 pole in an Epsom Oaks Classic Group 1 was taking a pull. He was taking a pull on this horse while everyone around him is going hell for leather. Frankie Dettori is taking a pull, so much so that the horse actually reacted to Frankie's, calm down, urges, if you like, and actually bumped into another horse on the rail. It made no difference, obviously, to the result in the end, and she's gone 16 lengths clear. And I'm telling you now, the cameraman at Epsom could not scope out far enough to get the second and the third in by the time she hit the line. It was a stunning performance. It really was. I mean, I went into this race thinking that it wasn't a great renewal, personally. I think the Derby's a better renewal, which we're going to come on to. But, there's two ways. You can either call a poor renewal before the race or, a couple of 3 months after the race when the form's been tested and proven. Maybe it might, maybe Santa Barbara might come out and win a Group 1. Maybe, Tiona might prove better next time. But I thought yesterday, before the race, that it wasn't a great renewal. And, that's maybe the case, given that we've had a 16-length winner. But the flip side of that, and talked to a couple of mates today, as recently as in the last half an hour, if you can take that form, literally a 16-length winner of a classic, she could be one of the best fillies of the century. hopefully we get to find out in the next 3 or 4 months, Pieman. But yeah, I mean, typical really. Going back to where we started, I said that I thought there was only 2 horses could win the race. Obviously, the one I didn't back absolutely wazzed in, and I didn't have a single penny on Snowfall, but very impressive.
Yeah, it certainly was very impressive. We had a few people in the comments as well. I know you mentioned before the stream started that you wanted some clues for the Epsom Dash because it's a race that you've not got many opinions on or you can't work out. And Tim Ashton says only spoofing for me, which I think is around the double figure 10-1 mark. Brendan Smith's in there. He says by Starlight 7:30 Goodwood is a horse to follow, pulled for a mile and still won easy. Always like them, Brendan. We'll get it on the radar. Have a little look at that after the call. Thank you. Might be some signal issues with Brendan as well. I don't know if that's just yourself, Brendan, but we're pretty new to the live game, so I'm still looking at what microphone setups and I can pull out to make this as easy to watch as possible. So I'll continue to have a play with the audio. Always appreciate the feedback if it's good or bad or whatever. So cheers for tuning in anyway, guys. Anyway, and we're going to crack straight on to tomorrow's action. Hopefully a couple of winners on the card for you because you had some hard luck stories today and some that just didn't run the race, I think. So we'll go straight in with the Derby. Obviously, we have previewed the Oaks and the Derby at length, and that video for the Derby's had a lot of comments with a lot of strong opinions underneath it. So do give that a look after this one if you're interested. But who are you going with for the Derby, Smido?
Well, similar to the Oaks, really, where yesterday I said that my opinions hadn't really changed from the initial preview to the final preview, and I'm going to say the same again. I think Bolshoi Ballet probably wins this race. He's 13-8. He's actually drifted a little bit after the rain, which I don't really get that. I said before he looks bomb-proof. I'm sticking with that. He was just so impressive on his last start at Leopardstown. Since then, he's screamed Derby winner to me personally. And like I said at the time, anyone looking to play up the multiples this weekend will want to include him. I wouldn't argue with that. I'm not going to back him as a single, and I won't be putting him in the official doubles and trebles selections as a single. I think we're always looking for a bit bigger prices on here. He's actually drifted as a result of the rain today. Well, I can only guess it's as a result of the rain. He's been he was almost 5-4 24 hours ago, and he's drifted. His best price 13-8 now with a couple of suppliers. I don't think personally that the ground is a problem for him. There is a couple of question marks over him truly staying the trip out there. I don't necessarily agree with that. And obviously, if you're a suspect stayer at any trip and the ground becomes softer, then obviously it's harder. It's harder work. So maybe that's factored in. But I don't see much problem with the ground to be honest. But the official selection for doubles and trebles spreadsheet, as it was before, is going to be Hurricane Lane. And my opinion's grown stronger on this horse. This horse was matched as low as 7 on the exchange in the aftermath of his Dante win, which was about three weeks ago. And yesterday, when I was writing these notes, he was as big as 9-1. Now the rain's come, and I think he's going to benefit from that. He doesn't need it, if you like, but I think he would prefer a bit of cut underfoot than it being good to firm, and it was looking like being good to firm at one stage this week. So yeah, I think it's going to be of help to him. The rain we've had, and there's been plenty of it. He's now 15 to actually he's even shortened in the last hour. Is 11? You can get 11-2 5 places Hurricane Lane, which I think is too short to be honest. But you're giving up some of your price for the each way terms. But is anywhere between 11-2 and 13-2, depending on what places you want, what place terms you want, 3, 4, or even 5. I'll put the final, when the market settled down a bit later this evening, I'll put the final and official selections in the description. But yeah, Hurricane Lane each way is definitely the selection. I think is easily the best each way value in the race. We know that the Dante is by far the best English Derby trial. I've said that before. He's unbeaten in 3 career starts. He's guaranteed to stay the trip. Absolutely cast iron guarantee he will stay this trip and probably further in time. Like I say, the rain has boosted his chances. I just think it's solid as you like. And I think now, at between 11-2 and 13-2, I think he's now more the right price at 9-1. When I first started looking at this yesterday after the decks on Thursday, yeah, that there was obviously more juice in the price then. I think other than the favourite, actually no, other than Max Sweeney in this race that we might come on to, Hurricane Lane has got the best form. I would confidently argue he's got the best form in the book. Not the best performance. The best performance is probably to Bolshoi Ballet visually You know, he's won his trial, scooted clear, smooth round the bend. Visually, brilliant, great, should be favourite. But I think the best form in the book in terms of horses he's beaten, I think Hurricane Lane is a very strong case to saying he has got the best form. He's beat a fit and ready Magallan in the Dante, who I think's a good horse. I actually think he's got a really good chance in the French Derby on Sunday. I said that yesterday. There's other horses in behind him like Maximal, Tasman Bay. Hurricane Lane has beat this season. He's beat some really good yardsticks. So yeah, I just think he's the one, to be honest. And that's who I'll be backing.
There you go then, Hurricane Lane for Smido. It's quite a strong each-way selection, but the price is going, as has been pointed out in the comments. And I will just nip into the comments, because we've had a few. Do keep them coming in. Always good to hear what you guys are thinking. Simondo has pointed out a George Bowie horse tomorrow, Freak Out, 6-1. My nap of the day after today's trainer results continues to... I think you did give a mention to one of his 2-year-olds that went on to win really well today. It was about the 11-2 mark, if I remember. Oshada, was it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, something like that. It was in the Furs, the Woodcock today. Yeah,
so hit the front and no looking back, really.
Yeah, well, when we spoke about this horse yesterday in the George Bowie angle, I think at the time he was 10 wins from 23 juvenile starts on turf this year. Well, that is now at least 11 from 24. It's quite remarkable for a small and upcoming trainer. So yeah, what Simondo's saying there, absolutely fair play.
Yeah, couldn't knock it. And Lucas Coppin totally agrees with you with Hurricane Lane. He says, price has been smashed today, but I managed to get on at 11. Very impressive last time out. Won on heavy ground, guaranteed to stay. And then he comes in again on the price. Hurricane Lane now 6-1. And to be honest, there is a bit of 13-2 around in one place, but I'm looking at these prices now on Oddschecker. It's looking more like you're going to be fighting for 5-1 in an hour or so, the way it's going. So quite a big move, and we might be on the right one there, Smido, hopefully, with a bit of luck. Brendan Smith asks on One Ruler, a horse that we mentioned yesterday briefly. One Ruler will go on the ground, but will it stay?
I don't know, and that's built into his price. Yes, he will prefer the ground, but will he stay? It's going to be more, like I said earlier, it's more difficult for horses to show their stamina when the ground is sapping your energy when it's soft. But yeah, I mean, I said One Ruler, didn't we, on the preview a couple of weeks ago? He was 40-1-ish at the time, and you just have to look back to the Guineas where he was 9-2 favourite at a time. Didn't pull up any trees in the Guineas, but he's more of a 10 furlong horse than a mile. I'll put it that way. I know this is not 10 furlongs, and that's where the question marks come in. Will he stay? Will he stay the mile and off? But it is factored into his price. He's now 20-1. I've had a couple of nibbles on the exchange at around 38, 40-ish. Yeah, he's certainly in there with a chance, but I don't think he'll be beating Hurricane Lane, if I'm honest.
Tim Ashton asks, what about John Leaper with Frankie on board?
Yeah, well, it's been a bit of a talking point this week, to be honest. So John Leaper, who had a racecourse gallop at Epsom a few weeks ago with Adam Kirby on board, with very much a view to Adam Kirby riding in the big day itself. Then this week, Mr. O'Brien decided he was only going to have one runner. That's going to be Bolshoi Ballet. It's the first time he's only had one single runner in this race for about 15 years. Frankie, as we saw today, usually gets the second choice Ballydoyle horse in these big races. Well, in this Derby itself, there is no second choice. So all of a sudden, on Wednesday-ish night, Frankie Dettori, the world's most famous jockey, didn't have a ride. So he was touting his name around, and his name's got as far as the Dunlop yard, and he's now on John Leaper. Got a feel for Adam Kirby a little bit. You really have. I mean, he's done absolutely nothing wrong, and they've put Frankie on. But when you look from an owner, you only get one shot at the Derby, and Frankie's won this God knows how many times. He's obviously won another classic today. Yeah, it's just unfortunate for Kirby. But what I would say for Adam Kirby is that I don't really know how the politics has worked, but he's actually picked up a ride on another horse, a Godolphin Outsider, a Dayar. So yeah, I mean, he's probably not got a chance of winning for Charlie Appleby, but it's nice to see him get a ride in the race. So yeah, fair play.
Yeah, so just to dive back into the comments, we are going to move it on, but always good to hear what you guys are thinking. And Centre Circle Podcasting again, nice to have you on again. Says Mother Earth, now Snowfall, maybe AP is the master after all. And SB Santa Barbara, presumably, was the industry taking the punters for mugs. They were all in it together.
Well, no, yeah. See, this is where I disagree, because he's got that many horses, right? And when he turns up today, O'Brien, people have been, I'm going to come on to this with high definition, but people moan if he has one runner, people moan if he has 5 runners, right? He had 5 runners today. He must have, at the turn of the year, if you include the Oaks and the Derby, the four classics, the first 4 classics of the season, he must have 50 horses that potentially could run in the 1,000, 2,000, Oaks and Derby, right? They're not always going to have a chance to run against each other, right? And the simple fact is, right, they'll have a bet. The lads, the Ballydoyle lads, Tabor, Smith, and Magnia will have a bet, right? Snowfall today has gone off 6-1. Now, if they knew over in Ireland, in North Dublin-ish, where they are, if they knew that Snowfall was going to win this race or had the potential to beat Santa Barbara by 20 lengths, if they knew that Snowfall was 20 lengths better than Santa Barbara, do you think that Snowfall would have gone off 6-1? That just concludes the discussion.
Well, I think that discussion will rumble on. I'm afraid. I think there's always going to be question marks when the second string, third strings win to repeat. I totally hear what you're saying about the quality and the strength in depth. But I think just worth asking, what did you make of Santa Barbara? Because this is a horse that we've talked about at length. The hype around disappointing again.
Yeah. Like I said, my conclusion yesterday was that she just had to be taken on. Too much hype. She wasn't particularly strong or weak in the market today. I think she went off similar price to what she opened at yesterday. I don't know. I'm just running out of. I'm just a bit bored of it, to be honest, Pieman, regarding this horse. I'm just a little bit bored. She's proven now twice at 2 different trips on 2 different bits of ground. She's been favourite and joint favourite. She's not delivered. Aidan was talking today in his interview with Matt Chapman. He was saying, Santa Barbara is a 10 furlong horse, but exceptional 10 furlong horses always have a chance of staying a mile and a half. And then he said about Snowfall that Snowfall's an out and out, mile and a half horse. Sorry, and so it proved. So I'm just bored of hearing about her. To be honest, she might win something this year. She might not. I'm not really that interested at the moment, to be honest.
All right. Well, I won't bore you any longer with that one. Then I'll just nip back in the comments. We are going to move on from the Derby onto the other races in the card, but good to have who I believe is Wayne Harrison in the chat here, the Antipost King in the chat. Good to have you on board, Wayne. And I know you back Snowfall, so congrats on that one. I mean, that must have been a nice watch for you. Definitely. Richard Harris. There was a bit of a conversation about Gear Up at 22-1. Somebody did mention it a little bit above. Lucas Coppin said opinions on Gear Up, won a French Group 1, beating the 5 heavy ground form. 22 is available at Richard Harris. Not so convinced, says has no stamina in the pedigree on both sides, no chance. So all about opinions this game, innit? And Richard Harris has just weighed in as well on the market, saying that they are manipulated. It's very naive to think otherwise. I probably need another video to talk about that, Richard. To be honest, I could probably share a few opinions, but And Stephen Derbyshire's just joined us in the chat as well. He says,
brilliant.
Good to have Stephen in the chat as well. But anyway, look, guys, I appreciate the comments, but we are going to move it on because we've got some other races to discuss. Do keep your comments flowing, of course, and I'll try and get back to them. Just want to ask you quickly, Smido, about high definition. Just a quick one if you can. You would bang against it, and it's not going to run. Going to go to the Irish Derby instead by the looks of it. And anything to say on that?
Yeah, similar-ish to what I said about Santa Barbara, really. I was keen to take on high definition. I was a bit disappointed that he's not running because I was hoping he would run. I'd be dead against him and he'd provide a bit of value in the market. It turns out he's not going to run anyway. But, I mean, you can't please some of these Twitter folk, like I've just said. They're moaning when he has 6 runners. They're moaning when he has 1 runner. Some were getting carried away with O'Brien only having one runner. But, and just assuming, he's only got 1 runner, it must, Bolshoi Ballet must be the winner. That's not the case. On my stats, since 2010, there's been 139 UK Group 1 races where Aidan O'Brien has had just... sorry, I've got that wrong. There's been 39 Group 1 races where O'Brien has had just 1 runner. He's only won 20. He's won 24 of them. So, it's a good strike rate, but it's not bomb. It's not 100. It's not 95%. So, I was just looking. There's been 25 occasions where he's had 1 runner at 7-4 or shorter. Bolshoi Ballet will fit that bill. So he's going to be shorter than 7-4, and he's going to be O'Brien's only runner. Since 2010, when that's happened, only 14 of those 25 that have 7-4 or shorter have won. So there's 11 that have got B. A couple of them are odds on. I mean, it's a perfectly good strike rate. Don't get me wrong. It's a lovely. Anyone would die. Any other trainer in the land would like that. Would like that strike rate. That when you've got a far 14 out of 25 are winning. Brilliant, no problem. But everything gets blown out of proportion when it's O'Brien. It's not a done. What I'm saying is, it's not a done deal when he only has 1 runner. Simple.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I think, there's plenty of scope for this discussion to go on. Maybe we'll have to look at doing a weekly sort of Q&A where we could just open the floor up and have these kind of discussions. But I'm going to try and bang through the rest of this card because I'm going to be in the bad books if I'm not ready to have my curry in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So going to move it on. And we'll move on. We'll go with the 2 o'clock. I think we'll dive in with the 2 o'clock if you don't mind, Smido. And I'll give you a quick market check because things have somewhat changed in the last 24 hours or so. But we've got King Frankel 9-4. Patient Dream 11-4, Great Guardian 6-1, Freak Out, which got a very favourable mention from one of our chatbox followers there, and then we've got Chase the Dollar 17-2 and 12's Bar. So, what are you fancying in this one?
Yeah, I like Patient Dream. I was looking at another one that was a number one. I think it was called Camelot Tales, but yeah, Patient Dream looks pretty solid to me. I mean, it is a tricky race to bet on. I mean, there's 8-3. I think there's 8 3-year-olds left now. Yeah, just 8 left. Many of them unexposed, many still improving. A couple of them trying the trick for the first time. But I'll keep it short. Patient Dream was a winner at Epsom on his last start. The second that day has won since. The third that day has won since. And the fourth that day has won since. He's £7 higher in the handicap since that last win, and deservingly so. It was a 1-length victory. He deserved to go up the handicap. That might not be enough to stop him. O'Shea Murphy's on. He's 11-4. I think he's solid. I think that King Frankel, he's another horse. We spoke yesterday about Mark Johnston horses that have been on a bit of a run of results. King Frankel is one of those, to be honest, and I think he's possibly too high in the handicap now. Now, he did finish behind Bay Bridge in the London Gold Cup, a race that we put the winner up in, and a good race and a good sign usually going forward. But I think he carried top weight that day. He's near top weight again this day. I would much prefer to be with Patient Dream than King Frankel. So yeah, Patient Dream 11-4.
No nonsense then. Patient Dream 11-4. Going to move you on to the next race on the card. 2:35, the Princess Elizabeth Stakes. Group 3 for the female horses. We've got 10 runners in this one. Any value?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty open race. I don't think I've ever backed the winner of this race, Pieman, to be honest. I think it's also one of the first group races of the season where you see the 3-year-olds taking on the older horses. So there's a bit of a clash there. Typically, and sometimes wrongly, to my detriment, I get drawn in with the weight allowance that the younger horses get. So, for example, Statement is currently at the top of this market at 7-2, carries £8.8 because she's a 3-year-old. But then the second favourite, Memora, is a 5-year-old and carries £9.6. So there's a £12 swing there. So I often get drawn into that wrongly. But anyway, away from the weights, Marmora won at this level on a final start last season, but was then 5th of 6 on a first run this season. There's question marks there. She's vying for favouritism, and I think she's worth taking on, particularly as Marmora might not get to the lead early doors and she likes to lead early doors and stay there. She's in stall 6, might not get to the lead from there. The one I do like is Posted. Really do quite like this one, actually, and she's drifted, and I think that's even better because I'm going to back her again. She's 11-2 Posted for Richard Hannon, Jim Crowley doing the steering. Showed some pretty nice form at the back end of last season, or in the summer of last season, in a couple of good races at Sandown, finishing 5th, actually behind Memora in one of those. Could have been closer with a bit of luck in running. And then the next time she came out and won in listed race at Sandown and won by 3 lengths there. Again, Montaffin was second in that race. That's some really nice, quite nice horses in behind. And next 2 starts, one at the back end of last year and one this season, have both been at Newmarket on the Rowley Mile. And basically, she doesn't like that course. She's not been brilliant in that. Has pulled up no trees whatsoever in those 2 races. But I don't think she likes Newmarket. So put a line through her 2 Newmarket runs and concentrate on that Sandown form. If she can repeat that and get anywhere near that, she's 11-2 Posted. I think that's probably going to be my best bet of the day, Pieman. I think she's got a right chance.
Yeah, and a juicy price on the drift. Hopefully keeps going if you fancy it that strongly. Posted then, yeah. And I'll move you on again to the 310. Diomed, am I saying that right? Diomed Stakes?
Yeah, something similar to that. Yeah, I say it wrong. Yeah,
never know how to say that one. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, very similar to the race we just covered, but it's for the male horses instead. So have you got one here?
Well, I was going to be all over Maximal, but due to the rain, Maximal is a non-runner. If it was on good ground, I was going to be all over Maximal. He was about 4-1 and shortening. Fortunately, he doesn't run, so I've reverted to type and I've tried to take on the favourite, who is Century Dream, and I can't, to be honest. I can't find a strong alternative to Century Dream. He's 2-1 and shortening. It's it's a unimaginative selection, but I just think it's the obvious one. He wants cut in the ground. He gets cut in the ground. He's a previous winner of this race twice, actually. 2018 when it was obviously at Epsom, it's where it should be. He won, and then last year it got moved to Newbury, and he won it there as well. He's the highest rated horse in the field. He's been out of his depths at the top level, Group 1s on his last 2 starts. He's an obvious favourite at 2-1. Like I say, I have tried looking at taking him on, Pieman, but I just don't think there is anything there really to take him on with. I think a lot of the horses in behind him have been or still are handicappers. Bell Rock, good horse. I was scared of him last time on Guinea's Day. He won a handicap. And they're taking, it's a natural progression. I'm not criticising them being in this Group 3, but I just don't think a lot of the horses are good enough to win it. There's people like Marie's Diamond is, Group 3 flirting around that level, doesn't often win. Escobar's a handicapper. Oh, This Is Us is a handicapper. Folas is a handicapper. It just brings us back. All roads bring us back to Century Dream. It's quite a short price, but he'll be going on the doubles and trebles spreadsheet. That is for sure.
Brendan Smith just says Escobar. You followed that off a cliff there, Smido.
Yeah.
We've heard that a few times.
I have. Brendan. Yeah. I'll accept that criticism. No
and
problem.
Brendan says Century Dream for him.
Yeah.
So a few more comments. I don't think any of them are particularly relevant to the Epsom discussion, but always enjoy reading the comments. Do get a little bit sidetracked with them. But Wayne did mention that the Memorial course is playing tough. That's in reference to the golf. And we've got Patrick Cantley and Xander Schauffele bang in the mix in the golf. So hopefully another winner for us this week with a bit of luck. But just going to throw it out to the floor. Any fancies anywhere else for tomorrow before we round up the bets? And in the chat as well, if you've got any fancies elsewhere, do let us know.
Well, I've got one, Pieman. I've been sent one by a follower of the channel. He might be in the live chat now. He's going to go unnamed, but some people might be able to guess who I received this message from.
I've got a pretty good idea.
Yeah. Home Abbey in the 5:20 at Hexham. So it's
get your notebooks out here.
Yeah, it's Derby Day. We should be concentrating on the Derby. One of the most important races in the calendar. But no, we're going to Hexham. So this is what the message read. Home Abbey, owned by the Roper family farmers from Silloth, who owned Great Abbey back in the day, who apparently was a good horse, I think won the Scottish National. He says Home Abbey will win the 5:20 at Hexham. On his penultimate run, he unshipped Danny McNamara, who had told David McManaman, he had told David Bass, assistant from Whitley Bay, it would have won. He followed up in style next time. A £5 rise is fair, and it's the best bet anywhere on Saturday. So, if you want to be on Home Abbey at 5:20 at Hexham, and to be fair, someone must be looking at it because it has been backed a little bit. I think it opened at 4-ish, and it's into 2-1, something like that tomorrow. But I mean, he's probably just gave himself away in the chat because he's just said Hexham is the best tomorrow. So, there you go.
Very reputable source. Well, I think we'll all be...
That's his 1 minute of fame on YouTube on a Friday.
We'll certainly all be keeping an eye on the 5:20 at Hexham now, that's for sure, anyway. And, maybe follow that up on our next video anyway. But, so if you've got any other fancies, do let us know in the comments. But we're going to wrap it up now. Smido, give us the bets for tomorrow. Singles and any doubles and maybe even a treble.
Well, Pi, you're getting carried away. You're thinking about your curry because we've not spoke about the Epsom Dash.
Well, I have asked you about the Epsom Dash. You said you had no opinion on it, but if you want to suddenly find an opinion, please feel free.
There is no opinion. I do like a sprint handicap, Pieman, as you know, but this is taking the biscuit. I mean, yesterday when I first looked, it was opened at 9-1 the field. There's 20 runners. The Grand National this year had a favourite at 7-2 for God's sake.
Find the winner.
Anyone in the comments who can pick the winner of that, fair play. I'll just give a bit of a background. On the adjusted Racing Post ratings for this race, there's £7 separates the 20 runners, so literally anything could win. And 3 of the 20 runners are 12-year-olds, for God's sake. 12-year-old horses, and it's 3 of them. I mean, come on, that is a joke. So, as you can tell, it's a no-bet race for me, but anyone... I know there is a couple
Tim Ashton did put in only spoofing earlier, so there's a selection for you from Tim.
Yeah. And Andy Jones, who I don't think's on tonight, he's quite strong on Sunday Sovereign that has been backed a little bit, 9s into 6s. But we'll swiftly move on, Pieman.
Yeah, no, I think that's a tough all race to pick the winner of, and good luck to anyone that is having a go in that one. But yeah, sorry to jump the gun, but we will round it up now. Singles and any doubles and trebles action for us.
Yeah, so there's going to be the 4 singles and 1 treble this week, no doubles. Patient Dream, 2 o'clock Epsom is 11-4, giving that one a go. Posted, I really do like 235 at Epsom is 11-2. I'm going to be win only on the doubles and treble spreadsheet, but I think you can get 4 places that in that race if you are inclined. That way, but not for me. Posted is going to be a win only at 11-2. Century Dream, unimaginative pick in the 310 at 2-1. And as we all know, Hurricane Lane really do quite fancy at 4:30 at Epsom. I've got on my notes here that you can get 6-1 for the 5 places, but that might have changed. It's 11-2 5 places. So if you want to be that way inclined, yeah, fair enough. I will update the comments when I've decided what each way terms I'm going with. I can't handle the pressure of the live chat. And the Saturday treble is going to be all as mentioned. Patient Dream 11-4, Posted 11-2, and Century Dream 2-1. We're going to go for a win treble. That will be a juicy one if it lands, but it is unlikely.
And I'm sure all the viewers will be making that a lucky 15 with Home Abbey, and you'd have to think in the 520 at Hexham.
Yeah, so the unofficial doubles and trebles live chat lucky 15 this week would be Patient Dream, Posted, Century Dream, and Home Abbey at Hexham, the big event at Hexham.
Yeah, well, I can't wait for Hexham, and I'm also quite looking forward to the derby as well. But thanks very much for joining us in tonight's live chat. Seem to be enjoying these, and it's good that we've got a little bit of interest in them. So we'll definitely get a couple more scheduled in, try and schedule them in advance so as many of you can join as possible. But enjoy the racing tomorrow, and we'll keep you up to date on the doubles and trebles Twitter with how we fare. We've got the golf action, which is rolling into the weekend now, with 2 of the 3 firmly in contention as things stand. So hoping for a bit of luck there after last week's 50-1 winner. Got some darts content coming your way soon, and I've just scheduled in some very exciting new content from a new sport that might be coming in about July time. But more on that info as we get it a little bit nearer the time. Enjoy your evenings, and best of luck with your bets. We'll see you again very soon.
Thank you. The chat started.